Hi, everybody. John Summers here. And, you know, we've paid many visits to on-the-job projects with Young Waterproofing. We've done some mold remediation. We've done some basement drainage, putting in tiles under the basement floor. Today is a little different story. Once again, we're with Dick Young from Young Waterproofing. Dick, thanks for being with us.
Oh, thank you, John.
Now, we're out in Alden today, and we have a home with a very unique problem. Before we go back and take a look, why don't you tell us what you guys are doing here?
Well, basically what is happening here, John, the foundation was settling down as well as bowing out. Now, this is a foundation for a garage that's attached to the house.
Okay.
So it's important that that foundation for the garage is in good shape or it's going to stress the house. So what had happened, it was due to water damage, just a situation of inadequate gutters, downspouts not properly maintained,
okay,
and it dumped all this roof water right next to the foundation, which in turn basically decimated the soil and caused the foundation to sink, and compounding that, it's a very expansive clay soil. So when the clay gets wet, it expands, and that shoved the foundation out, taking the garage wall with it. So as a result, we're removing all that old foundation, the soil that is incompetent, and another factor that I didn't mention, it's a very expansive slag that they use for fill under the garage floor.
Okay.
So we're getting that slag out of there, replacing it with crushed stone, new concrete footer, and then from the footer to the plate will be 3 course of concrete blocks, and that'll secure the garage.
Now, are you going to have to eventually do this all the way around the house, or are we only tending to the garage right now?
Actually, just the garage is involved because the basement walls are poured concrete.
Okay.
And the footer is actually about 9 feet down from ground level. So the foundation for the house is fine. It's the foundation of the garage that fell apart.
Well, let's go back and take a look. But as we take a little short walk, I want to remind anybody, if you've got any downspouts around your house that are not going into proper drainage or into the sewer and just into the ground, you could be facing a situation like this down the road. And you'll have to see this guy. Yeah, right?
That's true.
Let's
Jack.
go look.
Okay.
And by the way, that second truck in the driveway looks brand new. Is that something?
It's fairly new. It's a really good truck. It's like one of these emergency vehicles. It's has all the compartments in it. Magnificent truck. Very expensive, of course, for the truck and equipping it, but it's top of the line.
You know, this reminds me of when people are working on their front porch and they have the eave over the front porch propped up. You're doing this literally with the whole garage.
That's basically it, John. We had to shore the garage in order to take the foundation out from underneath, because if the foundation is taken out, the garage will fall down. So it's necessary to shore the garage before you go any farther. And this was not really an easy task in shoring the garage, just to prepare it for the foundation repair.
Yeah. Now, how wide is this trench you're digging around the perimeter of the garage?
Generally, the trench would be 2 feet wide. In this case, however, the bank is collapsing into the trench due to an excessive amount of water in the soil.
Okay.
So in some places, this trench is going to vary to about 3 feet wide.
Oh, boy. So what are you going to do, line it with something until you can pour?
Well, actually, we'll form it with plywood, 4x8s of plywood, and then fill it with concrete to grade, and then come off of that concrete footer with 3 course of concrete blocks and fill in the void between the footer and the garage.
Are you going to take up this garage floor and redo that?
Well, we could have, but the owner elected to leave the floor as it is because it's really not in too bad a shape. It's cracked up somewhat, but it's solid enough.
Okay. Would it be worth going around and filling in the cracks and smoothing everything over? In other words, putting a whole top coat on it?
Well, top coating it is it can be done. Very expensive. My opinion is if you're going to top coat it, you might as well replace it. So, and the cracks are pretty much insignificant. Okay. They don't look good, but other than that, it's all right.
All right, well, let's go outside. All right, here we are in back of the garage, and as you can see, they've already started pouring the cement into this trench. Boy, I tell you something, one wheelbarrow doesn't look like it's putting a lot of. You must be using a ton of cement.
There's probably going to be about 20 yards or so going in here. Well, because of the width of the trench.
We're all familiar with that measurement of a yard of this, a yard of that. I don't know what that is. I honestly don't.
Well, a yard of concrete, it's a cubic yard.
Okay.
3 by by 3 by 3.
Okay. So when you buy mulch, and they call it yards of mulch, it's a cubic yard. All right. That's amazing. Dick, how long before this stuff starts to set up to the point that they can't deal with it? Do you have enough time?
Oh, there's plenty of time on this. It sets up to the point where you can't deal with it within a few hours.
Yeah.
But it actually takes concrete 28 days to thoroughly cure.
Okay. All right. That's good to know. Now, I want to point out, this is only the beginning of the project, folks. We're on the back of the garage, and Dick tells me eventually you're going to go all the way around the side and then even across the front.
Yes, we'll start on the side tomorrow. We wanted to get the rear done first with the concrete in to secure the banks. Yeah. And as the trench is being dug on this side and the concrete's going in here, then we'll be installing the concrete blocks on this side. You see, the concrete only has to set for 24 hours to set blocks on it.
Okay.
The weight of the garage won't be put back down for a few weeks, though.
Okay. All right. That's good to know. Well, you guys are so much more than just dealing with nasty mold and putting drain tiles in a basement. This is a huge job.
Well, it's a fairly substantial job, but we do anything that there is to do that relates to basement waterproofing or structural repair, because they're both hand in hand. Water is always the problem for structural damage.
Okay. Folks, if you want to get in touch with Young Waterproofing, their phone number is 893-1939, or you can go online to youngwaterproofing.com. Dick, once again, thank you. It's been an education.
Thank you very much, John.
All right, stay there, AM. We'll be right back.
Well, they solved that problem. This segment has been brought to you by Young Waterproofing.